Harley, I start just at the beginning. Tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, but I grew up in Florida mainly. I lived in Florida for like over 20 years, and then you guys married twice. So my first marriage, we were stationed over in Germany for a couple years, and then came back stateside and got divorced, and then hold on. Oh wait, it's probably gonna be loud. I can tell you a great story about those guys right there.
Go for it.
Those guys right there, a couple months ago, I was in severe pain in my tent here in Ballard, and I didn't know what was wrong, and it ended up being pancreatitis. But see, I didn't know what was wrong yet until I got to the hospital, right? So the fire department ambulance came to get me in from my tent, and I was in like a fetal position on my floor of my tent. I couldn't move. I was throwing up so much I couldn't even breathe. It was awful. I was gonna die. And like these guys came, they go, "Well, girl, you can either get up and walk out of your fucking tent, or we'll just drag you out of there." I'm like, what? I'm like, what did you say to me?
Right.
Like,
so,
awesome.
So
Dollar Fire Department.
that scenario, it's like if I was in my home, they would never say that to me. And so you go, what is it where people feel like they can treat people because they're unhoused like that?
So I'm gonna tell everybody now, I'm like, listen, if you're gonna call the fire department or for an ambulance or anything, don't try to like educate people. Like, don't tell them you're homeless. Don't on the phone. Don't tell them you're in a tent. Go to a very nearby address, like if you can, like,
Right.
and just give them that. Just stand out front of a building or something and like tell them that. Otherwise, they won't come for you.
Right.
No. Most of the time, they don't even come.
Wow.
Like, they don't come. There's no fire department. No police won't come for any investigations, nothing. Like, people get shot, they don't come. Not unless somebody that lives inside calls, like, for an incident. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. That's crazy.
So when you went to the hospital?
Oh yeah, when I went to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and that's what those guys said to me. And then even on the ambulance right there, even the paramedic people were treating me so poorly, and I was like, what are you, like, they were just like telling me to sit down. I was like, I'm gonna throw up, I need a throw up bag. They wouldn't give me a throw up bag, and they like yelled at me because I threw up everywhere. Even though they wouldn't give me a throw up bag. I'm like, what the hell? But I got treated pretty nicely by the people in the hospital though.
Good.
So I've not had any really bad rapport with them, to say, but that's not saying that anybody else hasn't. A lot of people don't like Swedish here, so.
Well, it's like, it's not so much like the fire department or the hospital. It's like you're dealing with individual people.
Yeah.
And it's maybe their own bias that they can't even do or treat somebody. You know, it's not necessarily the organization they work for.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's like they weren't there for a call of like overdose or like, you know, it was nothing drug related. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's like I was there because I was in like severe pain. I didn't know what was wrong with me.
Right.
So I don't know if they thought maybe that's like what the cause of it was or something. I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe the person in their mind thought, oh, another drug.
Yeah.
Because all homeless people do drugs.
Yeah.
And just like all the
Categorize
stigma
those together.
Yeah, all the stuff that comes with that.
Stereotype.
And so this part is like to go, oh, not everyone's the same. Everyone's got a different story.
I know the mayor a while back, you know, I don't know if you knew about that, but the mayor, he had posted on his Facebook, not the mayor currently, but the mayor prior to this one. I don't think it was Murray, it was the one after that, but he was posting on Facebook to tell people if they go by camps or RVs, whatever, honk your horn really loud and annoy the homeless people.
Yeah.
Literally, the mayor telling people to like harass us pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. Yeah. What message does that send out to everybody? Wow.
I mean, like when you see people like walking down the sidewalk, and then like, I mean, I've had my camps where like I've had people see my places and they're like, oh my god, my place looks like a really nice house inside. And I mean, when I've had my camps, I've had like, I mean, it looks like an apartment inside. It's beautiful. I try to keep it really nice inside and like just so I can feel a little bit homey too, even though it's not my home, but like it is my home.
Right.
But just to be like, to show that like I'm not disgusting, you know, like I'm not a nasty person. I like to be very clean. And I mean, I've seen people like will start walking on the sidewalk. I've always kept the sidewalk very clean. I mean, literally, there would be no trash on the whole street I'm on. Like I literally pick up trash every day, and they'll still like come get closer to my like camp, and then they'll switch sides real quick, and they'll walk around, and then come back around. And I'm like, what is it? I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah, people are afraid.
Yeah.
Of the scary.
I'm like, what am I gonna jump out and be like, "Wah!" like on you or something like?
Well, I mean, you can kind of go like, where does that fear come from? And then you know, there's a lot of news media that makes the scary homeless people.
And see, we don't out here. We don't keep up with that stuff. You know, we don't. It's not that we can't afford to. It's just we just don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to. I don't own a television. I don't want to either.
Yeah, I know.
I don't.
But.
It's just depressing.
Yeah, they get on my nuts sometimes. They get on my, you know, they're like, Harley, stop, you know, because I'll be like, do you guys know that this is going on right now? Look, this is why they're doing this to us. They're like, okay, Harley. I'm like, oh my guys, come on, man, you got to read this stuff. Like, they're like, I'll be with the papers, all the papers and stuff. Like, guys, we need to know this.
It is good to know and keep up with some stuff, but it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's a lot. They're like, that's such a Debbie Downer. I'm like, I'm not a Debbie Downer.
Well, Harley, let's get back. So tell me about growing up as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You have siblings? Just mom and dad, or who
Mom
raised
and dad.
you?
My mom and dad were around. My dad was a truck driver, like over-the-road truck driver. Yeah. He passed away at age 46 back in 2008. My mom, I think she's still alive. We're not on speaking terms. I had a pretty good childhood for the most part.
And you grew up in what? Sorry, you said you were born in Tennessee.
Yeah, but we were there for probably just a little bit of my childhood, and then we moved around a lot because my dad's work. He was he was in the military, and then he went to be a truck driver. So we're still like we were fading out from the military into being a truck driver. So we moved around quite a bit younger, but that was never really an issue, really. We moved from we lived in Wisconsin, Tennessee, Florida. And in Georgia, growing up.
What was the place longest that you got?
Florida.
In Florida.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
For the most part, yeah.
And any brothers, sisters?
My mom had 2 kids from her previous marriage, but my brother didn't live with us. My sister did, though. Gotcha. So she's just 4 years older than I am.
Oh, gotcha.
My brother's 6 years older than I am.
Okay.
I'm the baby.
Did you go to high school in Florida? That kind of
stuff? Yep.
Okay.
I went to high school. I finished high school, and I did this one test thing. I left high school early, and I went to a community college, and then I went and got my HSED, and then because I guess I scored really great scores on there, that they gave me what do you call it? Oh my God, I'm in a brain fart right now. College for money, money for college.
Scholarship.
Yeah, scholarship money to use at the community college there. And so I started going to Valencia Community College down there in Orlando, Florida. That's pretty much where I was. I went to high school in Tampa. It was in Brandon. It's called Brandon. It's near Tampa, Florida. And then we moved over to Orlando after I was done with high school. And then I went to college there. Started college there.
Nice. Was there anything particular studying, or was this general education stuff?
Back then, a lot of different thinking in my head back then, where I wanted to be in life. I always wanted to work with the homeless. I always was me and my dad did the homeless, volunteer work a lot, growing up and stuff. I always wanted to work with people. I just was I guess I really just hadn't really experienced the world all too much on my own to determine what I really wanted to do for life. You know?
You're 19, 20 years old.
Yeah, well, I had a baby at that point.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, 19. Okay. Yeah, 3 days after I turned 19, I had a baby.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was a lot. Yeah, but I was still trying to go to school, but after I had the baby, then I kind of was a single mom, but I lived with my parents, so I was just working, working jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have my parents, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been screwed.
Yeah.
They were a ginormous help. So, but yeah, after the baby was born there in Orlando, I think he was 5 months old or 4 months old. We moved to Tennessee. My dad got a job out there. We moved up there to near Nashville, Plus, my mom's family lived in Chattanooga, so it was kind of nice to be a little bit closer to them with the baby and stuff, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was nice.
And so through your 20s, what were you doing? Just raising your child?
No, when after we moved up there, I would go back down to Florida every now and then to visit my friends and stuff like that. Just like when I was able to get like spring break time or something like that, you know. And I met a guy when I was down there one time. I told my dad about it, and so he was going over to Germany to be stationed over there. And my dad had grown like super attached to my son, Zach, so plus he's still really small. And we were just talking about it, like me taking him over to Germany with me, it just would be a lot. And my dad was like, I'll never see him, you know, and I'm like, okay. Me and my dad were like best friends, so I was like, I can't do that to my dad. And like, the look on his face was just made me want to cry. I was like, oh, okay, he can stay here with you for a little while, you know, and then so then went over to Germany, and we got married over there and stuff. So. Oh,
so you with that guy, you went to Germany.
Yeah. Yeah, he went first. I went like right after.
Gotcha. And then your child stayed with your dad?
Yep, my parents.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And then you guys stayed in Germany for a while, or?
Yeah, we were there for about 3 years.
Oh, what was that like, not having your child for 3 years?
It was hard. I didn't like it really. I wanted him over there, but my dad was a really good dad raising me, so like it was no questions about how he was doing. I never had to be like, is he okay? Because like my dad raised me, and I loved the fact that my dad didn't get a boy to be around. He always got me and my sister and my mom, so like having Zach there was like awesome for him. And so I didn't even regret any decision that I made like with that, because it was like, it's not that I gave them custody, it's just like he was just, you know what I mean, like we had to do this thing just in case something was to happen while I was gone. Like it's called like not custodial, or it's just like a guardianship, just in case like they take them to the hospital because they're not the biological parents or whatever. Right. So yeah, but other than that, like, you know, it was worth it.
And Zach was how old?
He was like one,
really young.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Really little. And I would fly back and forth to visit too, you know. We just didn't want to bring him over there because it was just so small on the plane and stuff. Like, it'd be a long ways for a baby to go. That's like an 8-hour flight just alone, you know. Plus with the time change, I mean, it's really crazy over there. Yeah, and I still was getting adjusted to being over there too, you know. So we weren't sure how long we were going to be stationed over there, you know, because at any point in time we could be, because he was in infantry, so like.
Oh, I see. So the person that you married was in the military. Got it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so at any point in time, like we could have been restationed anywhere else, you know. So.
But so eventually, you guys did come back.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. After he got discharged and stuff, we came back. He didn't re-enlist. He didn't like it very much. He wanted to come back. He wanted to go fishing. So I was like, okay, whatever.
And so you reunite with your son? Or?
Yeah, reunite, and then I get divorced and reunite. And then shortly after, found out I'm pregnant from my husband. Mm-hmm. So then, yeah.
You just divorced?
Yep. No. Yep.
Happens.
Yep. Like literally, yeah, we were already on not so good terms coming back stateside, but I mean, we were working through it. We were fine for a little bit, but once we got back stateside, he had mommy and daddy behind him in his ear and stuff, and they're Catholic, so like, you know, it's like, okay, yep, this isn't gonna work out so well. Got it. So yeah, then I had another son, and that was great. He was a really big baby. He was a 10-pound baby. He was a big baby. It was a really big baby. But I had to have a C-section because he was such a big baby. And I was around my husband. We were trying to be. He was trying to be around for the baby. I stayed in Florida for a little bit of that duration. I thought my parents were going to move back to Florida. I thought he was going to get another job soon, but it didn't end up working like that. You know, my dad, you know, thought they were going to be moving back down, but the job that he was going to get to move back down to Florida wasn't falling through. And so that was a little disappointing, big time. But, you know, he's down there with my husband, my ex-husband Lucas, with our son. And I was staying with him at his folks' house, you know, made a big house down there in Orlando. Yeah, up until we just couldn't get along anymore. It just was too much, way too much. I breastfed him for my son for like a year, and then after we're done, I was done breastfeeding, like, we're done, we called it quits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
I get it. I've been there.
Yeah, we're like, can't get along, whatever. And then the court system, I was waitressing at the time, but in Florida, I guess not really like a mom state, so because I wasn't making enough money, they deemed him the primary parent because he had his parents who backed him up down there with their money, and because I didn't have any support system in Florida there, they weren't going to let me be the primary parent.
So what does that mean, custody?
That means he gets most of the guardianship of my son versus me.
Wow, yeah, right. Ouch. Was it like 80-20 or 50-50? Or not 50-50, but like...
It's like 90-10.
So you barely saw him. Ugh.
It's like visitations, like, that time. I'm like, they treat you like you're a criminal.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, why do I feel like I'm being criminalized with seeing my son? Like, what is this? Like, what the hell? Like, I could have been breastfeeding him, and then, like, 3 weeks later, I'm barely able to see this kid. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, ouch. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, that was a big thorn in my side right there. That was not cool. And you can't really fight them, It's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, once it's like gone through the courts, and it's like that's it.
Yeah, if I get any.
Well, unless you were, getting along with your ex and you guys work something out, of course you can do whatever.
But even then, like, it's not like to become the primary parent, taking the primary guardianship away from the other person is so hard. Like, once they get that primary guardianship, of the child, because you got to prove this and that and this and that, and like that you're making enough money, and like that you've got a big house, and like. I mean, to get a big house, like, how much that costs down there? That's expensive as hell, And making money down there wasn't. I mean, down there, minimum wage was like for a waitress was like $3.60 or something. Right. Yeah. Plus tips.
Right.
So nothing like was Washington State, nothing like this. When I heard about how much Washington State's hourly was, I was like, what the hell? I was like, where have I been all my life? I was like, what the hell? That's crazy. I would have totally had a lot of money up here if I lived up here. That's crazy. I didn't believe it at first. I was like, no way.
Yeah. Some places, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, the cost of living is way higher in Washington, in Seattle.
You can find pretty good cost of living. We lived up when we ended up my second husband. We ended up moving out here from Wisconsin to Seattle. We found a place up in Everett. It was, it was Mill Creek. Found this little, like a 2-bedroom-ish. It was like one and a half bedrooms for like, oh wow, what was it? It was under $1,000. And then when I ended up moving it to Everett, I got it was like a 2-bedroom, and then it's really 3 bedrooms because they only considered the one a closet because it didn't have a window. But it's the size of our king bedroom, so it's 3 bedrooms with 2 baths for $880 a month.
Yeah. When was this? What year was this?
This was back like in 2015.
Yeah, maybe some places.
Yeah, right there on 99, right there, right like where the Walmart used to be up there up in Everett, Yeah, there's a apartment complex kind of like across the street from there, and. I lived there for a while, and the apartments are really nice too. Yeah. You got underground parking and stuff. Like, that's actually quite nice.
So, you said you were in Wisconsin.
Yeah, so when I was in Florida.
Kind of made your way there.
Yeah, I got pregnant another time, and I ended up giving that baby up for adoption. Just because of where I was in my life, and because the dad situation wasn't, anything to speak about really. So, gave the baby up for adoption to a family I found down there. But it was the same year. That was in 2008. My dad died in January 2008, and then I had the baby in April 2008. And then in May of 2008, I had a motorcycle accident and crashed really hard. I ended up being in a wheelchair for a year. Broke my pelvis in like 8 places, fractured my spine in 36 places. I have a plate in my head now. I had 2 cardio, what do you call it? pretty much 2 heart attacks. I had two blood transfusions. It was really, really bad. It was awful. After I was done rehabilitating, someone I'd known from way back when, from when I was in middle school, this guy I used to know, he was down in Florida, and we kind of reunited, and that's ended up being my second husband. But he lived in Wisconsin at the time, but he was down in Florida visiting his brother. His brother lived down there, and so it was like a New Year's party thing, and so, went there, we rekindled and stuff, and I ended up going back. He went back, and they came back and came and got me and went back there, and then we got married up there, and then...
now, at this point, all your kids go with you?
No. Calix, my son, with my ex-husband, stayed in Florida with my ex-husband, and Zachary was still with my father.
Okay.
And then, for my mom at that point,
Yes.
and then went up there with Kevin, my next husband, and then up there got married, and then we had our daughter, Mila, and then, we were doing fine, other than the fact that he had just never really been out of Wisconsin, really, and so he kind of wanted to see the world a little bit too, and he was a master electrician. Okay. So he always wanted to come out here to Seattle, and so I heard about the pay rate out here, and for his position, and so we researched it. And we're like, let's just do it, let's just go. We went in, but he had a really bad drinking problem. Was the problem with Kevin? He couldn't stop drinking, and that was a really big problem for our marriage, especially for me, like trying to overcome like any type of like substance abuse or anything like that. Like I had a small drinking problem too, and I was really trying to keep that down. Especially with Mila around, our daughter around, and we just couldn't see eye to eye. I don't know what it was, but we came out here. I ended up staying out here, and he ended up leaving. After being out here for like 3 weeks, he left.
Oh, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he had a drinking problem before, obviously.
Yeah, because like his dad and him, they had a company out in Wisconsin, and like every night afterwards, they go play pool at the local beer hall or whatever, So like he was drinking like every day after work, and then it's not that he was like a really bad drunk. It was starting to become like a really bad problem though. Yeah. Especially 'cause we had a baby and stuff, and I'm like, dude, shape up or ship out type shit. Let's go, guy. Like get the program. We have a baby. You can't be like holding the baby. You know what I mean? Like what are you doing? And he just, but he was a really good dad. Like he just couldn't stop drinking. To save our marriage, But he has our daughter right now, and he's a great dad now. He's not drinking anymore. He got remarried, and he's doing great. So I'm very thankful for him.
Yeah. Well, that's that's kind of an example of like we all have these different parts to ourselves, and some are really good and amazing, and then there's some parts that people cope with all kinds of things, right? He was coping with alcohol, whatever, and it just couldn't. Whatever he was trying to numb out or whatever, maybe just couldn't do it. Finally got to the place where he...
Yeah, exactly. I'm not mad at him for it. I get it. I've been there.
Yeah, well, we've all been there, right? We all cope
and
with
the fact
things.
That he's like an A+ dad to my daughter, like
amazing.
I couldn't.
Yeah, incredible.
I can't ask for. Why would I be mad at him? I could never. I owe him my life for that. I'm very thankful to him that he was just like, I need to come get Mila, and he's like, got it. Just came and got her right away that day. Came and got her, flew in.
So he, after 3 weeks, went back. It was just you and your daughter for how long?
Oh wow. I had Mila up until for a couple years. She was 4.
Okay.
5. Yeah, 5.
And and you said at some point, you said, come get her.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about that situation.
It was really hard. I was struggling so bad. I was trying to make ends meet. Oh God, it was awful. I'd even taken us back out to Tennessee to try to be by my mom because I just needed family. I had no family out here. It was just really hard to have family. Trying to just get closer to family out there, and my mom just totally fell through. Plans with her just fell through completely and entirely. Like we get out there and like she didn't even come pick us up from the Greyhound bus station, and she's like left us hanging. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
So you took a bus from here with a 4-year-old to Tennessee?
No, she wasn't even 4 then. She was like 2.5 at that point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awful. We had like oh my God, we had like a bus broke down for like 16 hours at one point. Dude, it was awful. It was so awful. It was awful.
That sounds really hard.
And she didn't even come through. didn't even pick up the phone when we get there. I'm like,
and so what'd you do? Did you come back?
I had some money saved up. Luckily, not much, but I had a little bit. Just got us a hotel room. I was looking for a job immediately. I was already looking for a job on my way here, like online and stuff, sending out resumes and stuff like that. And luckily, I got a job right away at a murder mystery dinner theater show thing. And it was crazy. The guys let me use a car right away too. So that was I was like, all right, awesome. Yeah. That's badass. I'm a great driver. Like I have no bad driving records. I'm like, sweet. Yeah, and then that fell through. The place wasn't making enough money and stuff. Not where its location was. It's Chattanooga, Tennessee. There's not a lot of revenue there. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of tourists, going through there. So it's like, that isn't the right city for that guy. You might want to game change that. It's good concept, not good location.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that fell through, and then that's when I was scrounging. I was like, what am I gonna do? I had no job now, and I'm like, oh shit, And then that's when I called Kevin. I'm like, you gotta come get mine, because I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, we're gonna be on the streets, and I can't have her on the streets.
Yeah.
So she had to go with him, and that was heartbreaking. That was hard. That was really hard.
So, from there, you come back to Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, eventually I was calling like all my friends around the states and stuff like I'm gonna kill myself. Like I was like depressed. It's awful.
Yeah.
I just felt like such a failure. Like I could take care of her. That was fucking fucked up. It wasn't that fair. Like there's no outreach out there. There's no resources in Tennessee at all. Like literally, I was like calling places like, I'll make up a fixed TV story if I have to. I'm like, send us to South Carolina if there's a fucking shelter there for us. Like I just wanted anything. I didn't want us to be separated.
Yeah, you need help.
And like, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Nobody had anything. I didn't want to put her through that, So I was like, yep, he's got to come get her. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore by myself. He's got to come get her.
Yeah, I have 2 daughters, and to be in a position where you have to make that type of
It's
choice.
like her face, she's like, Mommy, you're going too? I'm like, no, I'm not going. She's like, I feel so awful. That's the last time I seen her.
Oh, yeah. And what year was that?
She's 11 now.
Yeah.
She'll be 12 in a couple days. Her birthday's February 15th. And she's really happy right now, though. She's doing so good.
Yeah, it's like, again, both of those things, like, you're happy for her, but as a mom, it's just so painful.
And it's like any picture I see of her, I can just see like this like sadness in her face, like it's like oh man.
Well, Harley, do you talk to her? No.
I just realized like when you do that to a kid, like you're not consistent, and it's really hard to be consistent. I hear when people steal your phone all the time, and like there's some things are just beyond my reach. I know it seems like an excuse, but it's hard to keep a phone. I hear sometimes people just steal your shit all the time, like. To try to keep calls consistent, where it's like, because if you're not consistent with the child, if it messes with their head, and it can lead to like a lot of like problems with them when they get older.
Yeah.
So just like, if I can't be consistent, I'm not gonna mess with their head, because it's not fair to her. Oh, Mommy not gonna call me again today? Like I don't want her to have to ever say that, like that's awful. I just want her to forget about me, It's better that way.
Yeah, that is a tough position to be in.
I don't want her to fucking be sad or feel bad about me not calling her or whatever. Like, I don't want her to be upset about that, crying for me. Like, I feel bad about that.
Yeah, I meet a lot of parents out here with kids that they are separated from. And it just destroys people. It would destroy me, you know?
And that's like the main reason we all keep doing drugs is because of that.
Yeah, just to get some kind of relief.
We don't want to think about our kids. I mean, it sounds so awful, but it's like, we just don't want to think about not being with our kids.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be, they're like, somebody told me the other day, like, you don't want to be happy, Harley. I'm like, how do you know? Like, why don't you want to be happy? I was like, because I don't feel like I deserve happiness unless my kids are right here with me. Why would I want to be happy? So I feel like I'm cheating on my kids. Like, that's awful. I shouldn't be happy without my kids. I love my kids. None of my kids are taken from me. Like, I've never had CPS involved in my kids' lives. I love my kids. It's all because of money.
Yeah.
That's all it all has to do with. All because of money. That's awful. Money shouldn't determine, like, whether or not you're a part of somebody's life or not, you know? That's awful. I was raised on love with my dad, not money, you know? Like, money didn't determine whether or not my dad was a good dad to me or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was about hugs and kisses he gave me. Like, that's what I thought. Yeah. That's what I thought raised a kid. I mean, that's what I grew up on.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that connection, the human connection, the relationship, the love, it's like, that's the stuff that matters. The material stuff, you know, you need some things, but it's like, there's a lot of wealthy people with miserable, you know, relationships and families and kids. Yeah, I think you're right.
My kids could have all the toys in the world. Let me tell you something. They'd sit there and I'd get them anything they wanted at the store. I would never spend any money on myself. I had money. I bought my kids anything they wanted. And it still didn't matter. I could give them the coolest thing they had, right, in the store. And still get to home, and they drop all that shit. They just come and jump on me. And that's all they wanted, was just to hang out with mom. That's it.
Yeah, totally.
They just want mom's kisses and hugs.
That's
Because
right.
we spent every day together. Anytime I was with my kids were always with me. You never saw me without my kids. I didn't bring my kids around people because I'm selfish. I'm like, no, you don't get my kids' time. My time. Well, my kids' time is mine. I love my kids. I love my kids so much. We just go everywhere. Library, parks, every park. We just visit everything. I'd just show them everything. If we had a car or not, we'd go everywhere. Take them everywhere and see everything cool. I wanted them to see every part of the world. It's not fair.
Yeah, sounds like you really missed them.
I just wanted them to be okay. That's all. I wanted them to be sad. I'm just glad they're not, like, old enough to know things yet, you know? And my one son, I reconnected with him. Zachary, my oldest one.
How old is he by now?
He's 21.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
He's 21 now, but he's homeless out in North Carolina, and I'm trying to get him out here with me. I haven't seen him since he was 5 years old.
Wow. How did you find that out?
He forgives me and everything. I'm like, oh my God, it was awful. When my dad died, my dad was murdered in January 2008. And so when that happened, I was pregnant with a baby I was good for adoption, you know? So then that's the only reason why CPS had to get involved, was because of that. But they're like, oh, well, you're giving up a baby for adoption. You can't take on your other child. I'm like, what do you mean? This is my kid. Like, so they wanted a family member to take him on, you know? And then plus I ended up having that motorcycle accident too, so around the same time this was all going down. And so Zach went and lived with my dad's sister, Elizabeth, who lived in Wisconsin as well. And yeah, anytime I tried to go over there to see him and everything, because I moved up there with my second husband, she told me to stay away because I was reminding him too much of my dad, and it was upsetting him or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's not what I want out of this. I don't want to freak him out or scare him. Like, okay. And I stood there, told myself, it's like, it's only a matter of time until he's 18, and she can't say shit. She won't be able to say shit to me. But see, when my dad died, he put up a lot of money for my son, and my son told me that he didn't get a cent of it. He didn't even know about any money. Yeah. She took it all.
Oh, so that money disappeared.
Like all his 401k plan, his everything that he had. His life insurance money, everything, gone. It's all gone. It was all set aside. She's only supposed to get increments for taking care of him, like either monthly or like I don't know how it was every 6 months or monthly or something. I'm not sure how it was set up with the lawyers and stuff, but it wasn't supposed to be like all gone.
Yeah.
And I heard that she had to like file bankruptcy and shit too. I'm not sure, but yeah. The only thing I cared about was like I just want to know where he was. That's all. I didn't care about anything else. But where's Zach? You know, found him on Facebook and wrote him, and he called me right away.
Yeah. And right because he wondered. He probably.
I'm like, I'm your mom. You need to call me. You know, I'm like, I didn't care. I was like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm your mom. You just call me. Like, just cut the dry shit. Like, just get to the point. Like, you're mine. You belong to me.
But growing up, he knew his aunt wasn't his mom. Correct. So he always had this idea, where's my mom? She's out there somewhere.
Yep.
And then you reached out.
Yep.
Oh, man, that must have been
I've been trying to reach out to him, but I think she had a hold of a couple of his accounts.
But like you said, when he's 18.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I cannot help but think, you know, if Zach growing up was wondering about you, I can't help but think your daughter's got that same curiosity and wonder.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that new wife that he married to, you know. But I mean, I'm sure I don't know what they tell her. I don't know what they.
Oh right, gotcha.
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I like the fact I know she's very well taken care of, like beyond taken. I mean, he makes really good money, so it's like.
But my guess is one day she's gonna grow up. One day.
Yeah, I know.
And then, that'll happen when it happens, if it happens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait that long. Every time I try to get a little bit ahead out here, it's like you just get knocked back down to like where you can't even get ahead out here. It's awful. Like they come and sweep you. You know, I'm just thinking like everything's doing good. I'm trying to set up getting in a place, you know, and then like they just come sweep you, and then outreach people can't find you. You know, oh, now your phone's broken or now your phone's stolen. You know, and then I mean it's just like one thing after a fucking another. It's like, oh my god. And when the shit hits the fan, the shit hits like every fan in your house. Like it's not just one fan, it hits all of them.
Well, Harley, are you been talking about? So you know, you came back to Pacific Northwest. What was the first? I don't know. That progression of.
So I came out here after that, and then
to being unhoused.
I connected with some friends out here, but they were like down in near Tacoma, like past Tacoma area, Lakewood. And she's like, yeah, come here, stay with me. And I was like, okay. So I came out here, and one of my exes from my past bought me a plane ticket to come out here and stuff. I told him I just needed him to do it. You know, he owed me some money from a past bill or whatever. I was like, just do it, spend on this. I need this now. You know, got me a plane ticket. Came out here, was living with this girl that I met a while back, and then I don't know. She just I didn't know about her drug problem, and I wasn't doing drugs then. So I was like, oh shit. And then so I just left, and then ended up at a tent city.
So you left that place to go to the tent city.
I had like no other option.
And was that the first time you ever kind of became unhoused?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you kind of left this situation that was not, you didn't feel safe or something?
It wasn't for certain, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I don't like that wishy-washy feeling, you know? I like to know that I'm going to have a place to stay every day,
gotcha.
You know? I don't like the unknown, like, oh my God, you know?
And so you went to that tent city?
Yeah, in Tukwila. It was down in Tukwila, and then, I started staying there, and then I started doing like outreach work with them in UGM, and I was doing like all kinds of work with them.
Union Gospel Mission.
Yep. And then I stayed at like every tent city. You know, I was at the one in Ballard, down in Inner Bay a while back when they were there. I was a bookkeeper there. Like I mean, I've been all over. And then I just I was at the one tent city. The last one I was at was like out in. Not Snohomish, Snoqualmie or something like that, out towards that area. It's like really deep, and I kept missing the buses to go out there. It was like a weekend, and I was like doing my outreach work too, and I just got sick and tired of having to go check in all the time, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't make it back out there. I'm doing this outreach, and I was really like getting into it, you know, and I couldn't get back there, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, and I just didn't go back, and so I started staying on the streets. And you know, just popping a tent up, and then that's how that started. And I just decided to stay here in Ballard. I wound up here in Ballard, and I was in Soda for a little while, and then I came to Ballard, and then I've been stuck in Ballard ever since.
Gotcha.
It's been here for like almost 8 years now here.
Oh, 8 years in Ballard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're 7 years in Ballard, yeah. Yeah, 7 years in Ballard. Oh, yeah, so probably a little bit longer. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesus. Yeah, because all the other stuff happened really fast. All that, it's like less than half a year from me coming to Lakewood to going to Tennessee. Like the Lakewood thing, like that happened was like less than a month time, and I was out of there already. Yeah, it was like she didn't tell me her whole situation. Like this, yeah, that lady with my friend, she didn't tell me her whole like situation. Like she wasn't accurate about her living situation, you know. So she was kind of already staying with a friend, and then like she had me come over there. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, you have a friend come stay with you when you're staying with a friend already.
Bringing another friend.
Yeah, I'm like, that doesn't work, you know. And then you got kids and stuff. I'm like, oh God, what the hell? If you bring me over here? Whoa.
Well, let's talk a little bit about 8 years on the streets is a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And you're a survivor. You're surviving out here. How do you do that?
I don't know. Everyday thing. My boyfriend we've been together pretty much the whole time I've been out here. So, yeah, we kind of keep each other going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Lost a lot of friends out here. Lost a lot of people out here, though. It's been real hard. It's been really, really hard. This is the most deaths I've ever seen in my life.
Tell me about that.
Oof. So much death. Oh, my God.
From?
Ugh. I'm not even accurate police report. I mean, they don't even write down the right things. Literally, my friend Dylan, like a year and a half ago, got shot in the back of his head with a ram set that was altered to shoot a .22 bullet. And there's blood everywhere in his tent, and they said that it was an overdose. And that was over there behind Target, Target, McDonald's, and that Sherwin-Williams back there. His tent was alongside the sidewalk back there. They didn't even tape off, they didn't even come and do an investigation, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They just wrote it off as an overdose.
Wow.
Yep. Like my tent, I had a camp over there by Lux Pot Shop, by the dirt exchange place. Somebody set it on fire with like a lot of gasoline and shit a few months ago. And then all of a sudden, that's as fast as I've ever seen a cleanup crew there to clean up a camp and to put rocks down as fast within hours after my camp got burned down. And that neighbor guy had been threatening me, like, we'll get rid of you, we'll get rid of you, we'll get rid of you, just like we got rid of all your friends too. This is my street, this is my town, you guys need to go somewhere else, you guys need to find somewhere else. I'm like, okay. And then like whoever did that, they I guess 8 or 9 cars got damaged in that car parking lot too.
Because of the fire?
Mm-hmm. I mean, thankfully I wasn't there, but everything I had burned up.
Yeah, gone.
That's kind of why we're floating around like we are now.
Yeah.
That was a big camp. It was a nice camp. It was a really nice camp. It was beautiful inside. Yeah.
Has like tiny homes been an option, kind of?
Anytime they have a tiny home, they either try to offer something that's like way down south, like near SeaTac, or like in places I've never even heard of, or because anytime anything opens up around here, like we're either not around or they just don't contact us. This is the first time Outreach has ever contacted me for any type of tiny home thing this year, since the whole time I've been out here. Outreach has never offered me any housing. The whole time I've been out here.
Yeah. Wow. In 8 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I think
bad.
And tiny homes are transitional. They're not even permanent housing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's just talk about that real quick. Like, what would that mean to get permanent housing for you?
That'd be cool. That'd be crazy. I wouldn't even believe it. Some people have gotten picked up right off the street and put in an apartment right then and there.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, some people have out here. They've gotten straight from the street into an apartment. It just depends, like, what program they're working with or whatever. Or, today was their lucky number day, or whatever, I don't know. I just want to get. I'm trying to get into housing fast because I want to get my son over here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to bring him over here and have him be on the streets with me,
Yeah.
We're going to have him do that.
But I mean, just to have a place, again, put your stuff in, lock the door.
I know, right?
Just
I
sleep.
probably won't leave it for a while because I probably won't trust it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I might not be here when I come back. I might want to stay here for a minute.
If you've been in survival mode for 8 years, just on.
I'll stash my stuff somewhere else.
Yeah, it would take a lot of work, even if you did get a home, right? To how do you even transition?
Like hiding it in garbage bags, like.
And then lock the door.
looking extra paranoid. I try to look too paranoid. I'm like,
Harley, is there something that you would want to say to the people of Seattle?
There's no such thing as northern hospitality. Be nice. Be nice. That's it. Be nice. Pretty easy thing to do. It's free.
It is free. It doesn't cost anything, right?
It goes a long way.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. It's good to hear your story.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry for all the pain. Ugh.